All right, let's get everybody else up in here, our Facebook brethren, before we're officially off the ground here. I didn't try Twitter because I'm not sure if the spaces are working yet for StreamYard, but hopefully this will be sent out on Twitter as it's going live now. And welcome in everybody to a Broncos Victory Monday with the Broncos emphatically beating the Dallas Cowboys to a tune of 30-16. Game was a lot less closer than that score indicates. And welcome in. I am Nick Kendell and joined by, as always, for Broncos for Breakfast with Scott Kennedy. Scott, a Victory Monday for you as well. Congratulations.
Yeah, a couple of home runs from the kid at baseball. So that's what I was watching this weekend.
That's number one.
So yeah, that was. I mentioned he was kind of feeling the how the other side felt. Struggling a little bit. Hitting 300 for him was struggling. So he got locked in this weekend. So that was a lot of fun. Gonna throw a couple of videos together because we do baseball almost as big as college football down here in the South. At this park that we're at, they have 7 cameras live streaming and then record in the cloud, and you can go in and pull all 7 angles to create highlights for 10-year-olds. It's insane.
Well, I have him on my fantasy team, so I'm glad his bat is starting to wake back up. No,
yeah,
welcome in,
for
everybody.
Sure.
We got Sean Burns saying good morning. Good morning to you, Sean. The question is, are we going on a run to the playoffs, or was that just a Cowboys flat team or a flat Cowboys team? We'll find out. Clee's in the house saying nice that the Cowboys take their bye against Denver. Mo saying NFC East is bad. Jimmy John saying never doubted them. Yeah, okay, Jimmy, show me the receipts. Taylor saying 3-0 against the NFC East. EJ's in the house too. Good morning, Nick and Scott and Broncos country. Awesome to see you. Dave's in the house. Always love Dave coming in. Loving the winning feeling. Happy Monday. # Broncos country. We got Colorado Kool-Aid. Man, I haven't seen Colorado Kool-Aid around these parts. The name doesn't ring out to me, so welcome in. And what a good name for today, drinking the Kool-Aid, drinking some orange Kool-Aid for sure. Should have got the shutout, and this one's for Vaughn. Great to see. Dave, I hope this one isn't directed at us. Problem with social media is it gives every idiot an opinion, and they're usually wrong. So careful, Dave. What's going on? Rob Doggy Dog coming in saying, what a fantastic feeling, a good old-fashioned beatdown. That's the Broncos I remember. Man, absolutely. Sunny days. Let's go. Ernie Mays is, man, he's ride or die. I love Ernie. Says, awesome game. Hello, Nick and Scott. Go Broncos. Victor Rios in the house. Good morning to you. We got Joey Grubb saying Williams needs more touches. We'll get into that. And Tim Hoffman coming in also saying that was the best Broncos game I've watched in years.
And Tim, big stars with that one. Appreciate that. Yes. Lots of stars right out of the gate. That click clack you hear is my big dog coming to join us.
Okay.
So welcome, Smokey.
Hello,
I'm gonna go get on my couch.
There we go.
Peter coming in with the stars too. So plenty of us said Broncos wins on here. Nick, look at that smile, buddy.
It's great. I mean, you guys remember us Saturday nights? If you joined us, Luke was saying, maybe this game would be an absolute blowout. I said, you know what? Any given Sunday, Broncos come in, they win the turnover battle, they control the line of scrimmages, and you give yourself a chance. And my goodness, I don't think control is a good enough word for what they did in the line of scrimmages in this game. So it's definitely a good feeling. It's good to be 5-4. And hey, the Broncos now play a Eagles team that is 3-6 on the season at home with the bye coming up. And those guys will probably be also playing. The Broncos will also be playing for a shorter week, getting like Vic Fangio giving them a little bit of extra time off if they're riding that win streak. You bet your butt those guys are going to be playing for a win in that game extra hard, and also maybe even a little bit of a
right there in a playoff spot to win that one. We'll get into the Eagles for sure. The Eagles are a little dangerous. We'll get into them as we move through the week, though. Now it's time to enjoy not just the win, but the way it was won. Who it was won against. All of the things, all of the turmoil. When you're feeling like everything's nosediving, to get a win like that feels extra special.
It really does. I mean, somebody said it should have been a shutout. It could have been. Those are what you call garbage time points at the end there for the Cowboys. And maybe Dak Prescott was having a bad game. There were throws to be made.
Fangio called them garbage time.
Yeah. Well, he also said his special teams decided to take the day off. So, man, he's feeling a little feisty, which is I actually appreciated the passion from Fangio, but let's hope the passion can keep up. Speaking of passion, Jamal Killing's coming in. Good morning. Broncos shocked yesterday. Great game, or great all around. Yep. We got August coming in. Hope they can keep the intensity up. Greg Smith, aloha to you, buddy. And DBA's in the house too. So let's get into it. Obviously, this is Broncos for Breakfast. I am Nick Kendell, joined by Scott Kennedy. You can find us on Twitter, myself at Nick Kendell MHH, and Scott at Scout Kennedy. You can also follow us at Huddle Up Pod and at Mile High Huddle. make sure you guys go to facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and facebook.com/Mile High Huddle pod to join us there. If you're joining us on YouTube today, subscribe, like, and share. Smash the like button, hit the bell for the alerts. That way you know when we go live. I have been doing a better job about scheduling these, so the chat rooms are made beforehand. But still, you want to subscribe, like, and share us. That way you know they're coming, and you guys can join us, especially on a Victory Monday like this, right? It's good vibes all around. YouTube.com/C/Scott Kennedy. If you want to keep those good vibes rolling as well, follow Scott's channel. I know we're on a draft, maybe a playoff hunt now. But the draft stuff is going to be coming around the corner there, and you're going to definitely want to be checking out Scott's channel as well for that. And we got Carrie coming in, maybe with stars. Either way, want to see you, Carrie.
Carrie Greenwood. Feels like a new name to me, Carrie. Carrie Greenwood. It's a new name to me, but you may have been around here a lot longer than I have. So welcome to our show. If we haven't seen you before, and thank you for the contribution for sure. Keeps us in coffee, which coffee makes me happy.
Absolutely. And let's get on into this, Scott. Man, what a good vibes Victory Monday going on here. And what makes this victory extra special, in my opinion, it's not just that the Broncos haven't lost to the Dallas Cowboys since 1995, which is an incredible streak for the Broncos. I know they only play every 8 years, but still, that's a youth. What have they won now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row against the Dallas Cowboys, which is pretty darn impressive. But it was this rookie class, this George Paton inaugural rookie class, where almost every single, I will say it, every single rookie that saw time on the field, according to at least what I could see, made a significant impact in this game. And typically, if you can walk out of a rookie class with one great player and 2 to 3 solid starters, you're happy with that. But this class, and it's really early, we don't want to crown them. We said every single year, like 2018, 2019, this rookie class looks amazing. And then they don't take steps forward. But this class, for where we're at in the season, for them being in their rookie seasons, outstanding game by almost every single one of them. And we can just go down the list. Go ahead.
Yeah. And you said one great player. And what's funny is when you said one great player, who do you think came to mind for me for great player right away?
I would have guessed you would say, because this is maybe a little bit of bias by both of us in the pre-draft process, I'd say Javonto Williams.
Yes, it was. And I'm and I completely, kind of glossed over Patrick Surtain, who's been a great player. So, for me, Javonto Williams was like, okay, you got your great player. Now who else is going to step up? And I'm like, well, who'd they take dumb.
Yeah.
Patrick Surtain already looks pretty good. So you could have one on each side of the ball, guys that are playing at a really, really high level.
Yeah.
And then you start throwing in some of the help you're getting from Jonathan Cooper, Baron Browning, Quinn Miners came in when he was needed. There's a lot to like about this class, and we can get more into it for sure. And Fox Breaks coming in, reading the title. Sometimes it's nice when Nick makes the title, because sometimes we don't actually read the title and we forget to talk about what the title actually is. So this one says, how about that rookie class? I love what I'm seeing from them. The beginning of the season, or during the offseason, we talked a lot about how there was either a veteran on a 1-year deal or a hungry young player coming behind them. We've seen those hungry young players take a step forward, and that's what competition is good for. And frankly, as we get into it, I want to talk about my players of the game on offense and defense. And I think you might be a little surprised. And what's going to be fun about this one is there's so many candidates. There's no way we're going to pick the same 2 players on each side. No way.
Yeah, no, the Broncos did so well, and it was help from a lot of people that, you don't expect every single game. And we'll tease apart this game a little bit more. Some people are like, oh, maybe you can't, rest on your laurels too much, but it's the team.
It's Monday.
Hey, they should be enjoying
this on Monday. We can enjoy this on Monday for sure.
Man, I even want to enjoy this on Tuesday because it was such a satisfying win. So we might still do that, but I want to dig into this rookie class first, and you hit on it. The first person that I want to talk about is Javonto Williams. He had a couple incredible runs in this game, no doubt about it. He is as an analytics person, a lot in that community will kind of roll their eyes with the run game, but he was a tone setter in that game. He has helped the offensive line establish some physicality, and he was picking up yards that, quite frankly, weren't there because of his balance and his determination and just how well he is at breaking tackles and moving forward. So extremely impressed with him, and everyone pump the brakes here.
Speaking of very impressed.
Wow. DWI guys coming in with $100, man. Good. I told you it was a good vibes Monday. Now I see players playing. Javonte is a stud. Coop, you are the 7th round steal. Well, DWI guys, you are the 1st round pick in my heart, and that is incredible. Yeah.
And Ethan, I hope you got your email alert today. Broncos for Breakfast mug is on the way. I actually put your information in, so hopefully you will get the updates on that one.
Well, this is incredible. So thank you so much, DWI guys, and happy Monday to you. But yeah, no, Javonto Williams, man, what a awesome game from him. Let me see, pull up his stats right here. He ran for 17 carries, 111 yards, 6.5 yards a carry, and a long of 30. So this wasn't like something where he had like 175-yard run that's really helping this. He had a lot of good runs. I know a lot of people are like, oh, why didn't the Broncos feed Williams more? There's a little bit of a catch-22 with Williams right now, is that he has it's either the highest or it's definitely in the top 3 of stuff rates for running backs in the NFL this season. So he's just extremely boom or bust when he gets the football. And you kind of noticed that in yesterday's game too, where he had a few runs that were behind the line of scrimmage or stuffed at the line. But once he gets that going, and I think if you can continue to build the offensive line where he doesn't have to, the holes are more obvious, you have something special coming there. But Javonto Williams, I mean, hats off, both running backs, hats off. But I want to first highlight him. He was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, and I want to highlight Dave real quick. Says although I did not correctly pick the winner, I did pick Denver to cover and the under. Appreciate the stars on that one, Dave. And then there was one more. So I said it's easier to do this in the background. There was another stars comment coming, I think from Peter. I'll make sure I will get back to. Peter says, and the Broncos won with banged up OL and OLBs. That's in here somewhere also, about how they won the game. And absolutely, Peter, you're right. You look at the offensive line, and that was what's more impressive about the running game and the dominance in the running game. It's over 200 yards rushing. There's 3. And we haven't talked about the starters as being a great unit right now. Then there's 3 backups in there, but maybe there's something to that. Yeah. Maybe there's something to, again, the younger, it doesn't even have to be younger, just the guys that aren't playing being hungry and coming in. I was very critical when we were talking last week about Melvin Gordon, the trade deadline. I was like, yeah, why not? You're not using him. You're not using either one of these running backs. So I was as critical as anybody when we're talking about the lack of use for the running backs. I will not be critical in this case over why isn't Javonto Williams getting the ball more. He got 17 carries. I'm okay with that. 17 carries across 17 games this season. He's pushing 250, 300 carries in a season. I'm okay with that for a rookie. Melvin Gordon got 21 carries, was also targeted in the passing game a few times. I'm okay with that. So you got 40 touches, give or take, between these 2 guys over the course of a game. That's more like it. That's more like it. I don't want to see 20 touches between the 2 in a game. You got 2 really, really good running backs. I want to see 40 touches. I want to see 40 touches. I want to see 80 plays. I want to see these 2 guys get the ball 20 times each. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to get on anybody for how Javonto Williams was used, because I think he was used extremely well, and same with Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, no, both of them had an incredible game. The Broncos with 41 rush attempts for 4.6 yards a pop. A lot of times when you see teams get boat raced as much as the Cowboys were, that yards per carry drops a lot because teams are just trying to get the heck out of there and are running more conservative offense at the end. So to see them finish with 41 carries for 4.6 yards a carry is extremely impressive. One thing that also is impressive, you talk about this is a statement game for, I think, what we've been preaching all offseason as far as the formula for this Broncos team winning. I mean, this was the formula down to a T, but the time of possession, oh my goodness, 41 minutes and 12 seconds for the Broncos to 18 minutes and 48 seconds for the Cowboys.
And you're scoring points with those. It's not just that you've got the ball, you're scoring points with the ball. Now tell me, because I watched this after the fact, I knew what was going to happen while I watched the game, but was there a little bit of, here comes the big return to the 50, oh God, here they come. It's starting like this already. And then they bowed up and stopped him on 4th down.
Justin Simmons.
Then it was a quick 3 and out. Oh, here we go again. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, that was nice. Ooh, yeah, that's really nice. Man, we're kicking their asses.
Yeah, it was. Seriously, this was the game that's the formula we've been preaching all season, besides the special teams, I guess. But it was the defense setting the tone in the offense, taking that momentum that the defense gave them and rolling with it and being a physical team, the efficient, dominant, physical run game and then the play action efficient pass game off of it. It was perfection. I mean, it really was. Obviously, there were some plays here or there. They didn't, beat them 60-0. It wasn't like, Alabama out there playing Southeast School of the Blind Methodist, that kind of thing. But it was
Iowa, for God's sakes.
Hey now, we won this week. But no, I mean, God, they would kill us. But it was an incredible game.
I just like those. We want Bama. No, you don't.
No, I don't even know if I want Ohio State.
Yeah, no, you don't, especially not in a bowl game when they've got 3 weeks to prepare for you.
I might want Bama outside of the college football playoffs because I could see them not showing up like teams of that caliber have done recently when they're not in the playoffs. But that's a different conversation.
Different conversation. I know. I was just teasing.
But yeah, no, the Broncos rookie class here. Javonto Williams had a heck of a game. The offensive line did great. But I want to keep on this rookie class for now because that's the title of the show, and we can keep just digging through them. The next guy who needs to be shouted out, Jonathan Cooper.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I was going to go Cooper on this one.
Jonathan Cooper, edge rusher from Ohio State, falls to the 7th round of the 2021 draft. He was a highly recruited guy. People raved about his leadership and everything like that, who he was, his character. But he fell to the 7th round because he never really took off at Ohio State like some of those other edge rushers have. He had the heart condition as well, which was a big one. But, man, he played incredible football. I think he had 7 hurries on the game, which is the sacks are the end result, but the hurries are more indicative. So 7 total pressures, 2 sacks, and 5 hurries. So what a game from Jonathan Cooper. I know they were going up against a backup left tackle who gave up 12 pressures on the game, which is dreadful. But still.
So were you. Injuries are part of this.
Yeah.
I saw at least 3 new offensive linemen in there on the Broncos side of the ball, and they did well. That's part of it. Having depth is part of getting through a 17-game season. That's part of what makes you a good football team. So no excuses. No excuses there.
I think the biggest thing, though, is the context of the backup left tackle struggling as much as the Cowboys did is that, Jonathan Cooper is not all of a sudden going to make you forget about Von Miller. I saw some of that sentiment in that game. Cooper had a great game, and he looks like somebody who could actually be potentially a starting option for you at the edge rusher. I mean, looking at the roster right now for the rest of this season and even 2022, the trio of Cooper, Chubb, and Reed, you can do worse than that, and you can add to the position too. So the edge rusher position, even though Vaughn is gone, and you're going to miss Vaughn because you don't have anybody like him, but you are going to be able to live, and Cooper is looking like a heck of a steal in this class. I mean, 2 sacks, he got close a few times too. I mean, Dak Prescott, hats off to him playing with the injured calf. He squeezed out of some sacks in that game that were he should have been down. So incredible, but great game from Cooper. He looks like a major hit, and I got to just pat myself on the back real quick because Scott, you were not doing the background information yet on this, but we did a Mile High Huddle mock draft where we all were together and trying to debate on guys, and we were there in the 5th round, and I was banging the table for Jonathan Cooper, and I don't think we took him. I think I was outvoted, and I get the last laugh because he's killing it for the Broncos now.
What do I say all the time about who do we really root for? We root for us.
Yeah, Jonathan.
We root for us. It's nice when what we root for when we say something like that aligns with our personal fan interest types of stuff. Mm-hmm. But those are the kind of things you remember as an analyst, when you're doing projections of the future. Mm-hmm. You want to be right. I want to be right. So it feels good when those guys do that. And Clayton, be careful driving home. Appreciate we're able to knock an hour off your drive. Depending on where you are in Texas or in Missouri, you could have an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit. So we can knock off a bunch of miles for you. So be careful out there. Appreciate you listening in.
Yeah.
But who else had a backup left tackle in this weekend?
The Broncos.
What
a game.
The Broncos did. Who had the more vaunted pass rush on the edges coming into this game? The Cowboys. No.
Yeah.
You have absolutely zero excuses for the Dallas Cowboys for injuries. None. Not a one.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, well, we were missing our left tackle and he was really abused. Huh. Yeah, so were we. And he kicked your butts.
Yeah, I did really. I mean, it's even though the Cowboys got run all over and the Broncos offense just marched down the field and not physical them, Micah Parsons did have a heck of a game. There's a couple plays here where it's like, okay, that's what you get with Micah Parsons. It's not this guy who's going backwards in coverage, but it's the ability to close space on the side. There was that one where Jerry Jeudy probably would have got another 10, 15 yards, but Parsons got up to him. And then also Parsons, when you can isolate him against a guard or center in a blitz scheme, which they did, he can get after it. I think he had 2 sacks in this game, and there's one where he got isolated against Dalton Reisner, and he just absolutely embarrassed Reisner.
Well,
He went across his face.
there was a delayed blitz that came through that Melvin Gordon wasn't able to pick up either. But then on the later that play, because I think I remember, they still got a first down on that, and someone else came through. I don't think it was Parsons, but then Gordon picked up the blitz. So that drive, it's like you made up for it, and that's key. It's short memories. You know, it's tough. But he came in and he was late, and he kind of got spun sideways.
Yeah,
picking up a delayed blitz out of one of the linebackers. But then he made up for it. He absolutely made up for it. So Silver Fact coming in here says, given the NFL snake draft order, am I correct that we want the Rams to win? Who are they playing? I haven't looked that far. Who are the Rams playing? That would give us a higher second round pick, right? Love you guys. Appreciate it. We love you too.
Yeah, no snake in the NFL draft. That would be, I don't know if that would be more fair or less fair, but the team who picks 32 does not then get to pick 33. The draft order.
Yeah, that's fantasy rules. If you were starting from scratch, the system that we have in the NFL rewards losers. So we reward you for losing and being bad. We want you to be better. We don't care if you're ambitious or not. We're gonna help you. We're charitable like that. We're gonna punish ambition. We're gonna reward failure.
As long as it's my team's failure and giving me something to look forward to, then I'm okay with it. Otherwise, it's unfair. I'm with you. The Broncos continuing this rookie onslaught, this 2021 class that had just multiple people really stand out. Let's continue on down. Patrick Surtain. I saw somebody mention it in here already, but Surtain had a pretty good game overall. I mean, there was a few times that he was targeted, and he looked like the best Alabama defensive back out there. I guess RIP to Diggs, who did not have a very good game. The Broncos went after him quite a bit, gave up the big touchdown, had the pass interference in the end zone too against Sutton that led to a Broncos points. But Patrick Surtain, really good game, showing out there again. Hats off to him. He did go to the locker room with a knee injury. I've seen, it's not verified, but I have seen a image floating around from somebody took a screenshot talking with Patrick Surtain Sr. And somebody's asking him, hey, how's your kid? Is the knee okay? And he said it's just a contusion. He'll be fine. So we'll see if that's that. I mean, I'm skeptical always until I hear it from the horse's mouth that's the case. But that's what we're hoping for.
Field and see them performing at a high level. I'm skeptical.
Yeah, exactly. But either way, Surtain had a great game as well. So did you take anything from Strnad? I mean, the Broncos, we can talk about the Broncos secondary too if you want.
From Strnad or Surtain?
Excuse me, I just saw somebody mention Strnad.
I mentioned Strnad having a good game too. So I was like, wait a minute, did we move on to that? And I missed it while I was finishing my coffee pour.
And Strnad did not have a great game because Strnad only had, let me see if I can find him in here, 3 plays. So he could. It's hard to have a big game when you only take.
I remember him being in. I remember him in on a tackle, and I was like, okay, good for you. But I wasn't counting plays out there. So
Baron Browning was 62 plays.
Surtain looked really good. But part of the reason, the front four alone, depending on who your 3 were, and then whoever was coming in, were getting a lot of pressure on Prescott, making him uncomfortable. Because yes, you want to be close, and he was extending plays. Coverage was good. I'm not taking anything away from him, because I also saw Darby making plays. I saw Fuller making plays. I saw Stearns. I saw Jackson. I saw Simmons making plays. They're all making plays. So they're all doing extremely well in the defensive backfield. And a lot of credit needs to go to them, obviously, but also to the pass rush, the pressure they were getting on Prescott without having to send 5-6 guys after him.
Yeah, it was a heck of a game from the Broncos secondary in general. Justin Simmons, that 4th down tackle that he had behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, good scheming up by Vic Fangio and Donatel to give his guy a chance to come down and fill that hole and make a play there. And just what a game. I mean, he had back-to-back, I think, drives there early on where he provided the energy. Vic Fangio's over there, fist pumping on the sideline, which, God, I was like, is that Vic? That can't be Vic. He never does that, which was incredible.
It wasn't even a Harbaugh, was it?
No, it wasn't even a Harbaugh.
Even against a Harbaugh.
Nope. So that was amazing. You talk about Caden Stearns coming in. I really enjoyed watching him play. The pick, he almost had 2 interceptions, as somebody mentioned here. That a second one, it would have been going the other way too, I think. But good game, a lot of energy out there. Obviously a good athlete. Another rookie showing out there in Caden Stearns. So we got Shane Daniels coming in, maybe with stars here, probably with stars, saying, morning all. I wanted to give this I wanted in the game was the offense perform, and they did, and Carl mocked me for it. Well, make sure you at Carl on Twitter to give him a hard time about that, because Carl will take it. Carl will take all
and
the shade.
those are the kind of times you love being wrong.
Yeah.
There's journalism, and then there's fan casts.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any doubt which you can dabble in both, but the folks at Mile High Huddle aren't hiding the fact that they're Broncos fans.
No.
So I promise you, Carl's happy. Carl's happy to be wrong on that one. DWI guys coming back in again. Number 30.16, because the 16 was garbage time. What about Fangio being animated on sidelines? Where did that come from? Some of that comes with the pressure that's on him and all of the bad talk that's been thrown his way. And you saw in his post-game press conference, you could see it. He's just like, he's a little smug about it. But how about that? How about them Broncos? How about that goose egg? How about that garbage time? He was a little salty about it. So he's feeling the pressure. He's hearing the noise, and he reveled in the fact that the Broncos went out there and beat the heck out of the Cowboys. And good for him. Good for him.
It's a good game, and this might be me being a little bit too much jaded by being a Hawkeye fan, but I've seen this a lot of times, and we're enjoying the Cowboy win right now, as we should, because nobody expected them to win this game against a potential Super Bowl favorite. But it's the same thing with the Hawkeyes. I need to see it next week now. I'm already guarded because the letdown after the big you beat Penn State, and then Purdue's coming home. Oh, we should be good. Then we got the bye right after that. Purdue smacks you. Purdue whips you. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing? Come on. Tim coming in. Love what you're doing. He says, I love seeing the Cowboys faces, wondering WTF is going on. Me too, man. It's great. We didn't get enough Jerry Jones bewildered looks in that game cast, for my opinion. Yeah, just sitting there, the life out of his eyes. But we'll take it. We have Jay Milzo Ryan coming in here. Melizzo Ryan saying, what do you guys think of Justin Strnad? Looks like Justin Strnad has been not Wally pipped. That's the wrong thing. But it looks like he's been displaced on this starting lineup. I mean, only 3 snaps, defensive snaps in this game. That's not exactly what you're looking for Justin Strnad. And I have the snap count here also. You have Baron Browning tied with the the team lead, I think, playing every single snap defensively with 62. And then you have 62 snaps for Baron Browning, the 3rd-round rookie. I mean, the rookie class continues to show out. 62 snaps for him. And then we also had 41 snaps for Kenny Young. So not only is Baron Browning the team's rookie linebacker, he's also the guy that's got the green dot on his helmet now, and he's also the guy that's staying out there.
All right,
for
what does that
sub
mean?
packages. The green dot is the guy who's the plays come in on.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Is that the guy with the communications in there?
Yep, the green dot. So
I've heard that a few times. I'm like, why don't you just say he's got the headphones?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they just do that, but he's got the green dot, and he's been exceptional out there. He's a few plays here or there, like I think it was a crossing route against Cooper where the Cooper caught the ball and then moved upfield in that first corner. Granted, it's Amari Cooper versus a linebacker. Good luck. That's a good scheming and good job by Cowboys to get it to that. But Baron Browning, a heck of a game. Another guy who's playing out there and looking very good. And we're going to see him playing linebacker the rest of the year. I mean, again, given how many snaps he had in this one, that's a major thumbs up. We believe in this kid, and he's going to get a lot of reps and a good chance.
Major thumbs up. Yes, major I watched How I Met Your Mother. I can't help it now. Major thumbs up.
There we go. Suit up, baby. That's another one. But I was really impressed with Baron Browning, and I think that's probably it on the defensive side for the rookies, unless somebody else comes to my mind. And I mean, hats off. We could talk about every single guy on defense. Draymond Jones, he didn't have a sack. He had 5 pressures from the interior. If you can get 5 pressures from your interior guy, you're doing amazing stuff defensively. So he had a heck of a game. I also think he had a bat down on that 4th and something as well. So amazing game from him.
You don't have to sack a mobile quarterback to make them uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is those pressures were coming again from the front. There was an extra, so there's everybody's back. I saw a wide receiver make a catch and there was Baron Browning out in coverage. Like, well, that's okay. It was in the flats. That's where he's supposed to be. That's a zone. That's his zone. Hit him for a 5-yard gain, and so be it. You can live with that. Make him make that throw. So the entire defense, there were standouts across the board and all the way across basically the entire roster. Let's do it. How about a rookie for the Broncos, meaning he's new to the team. How about Stephen Weatherly?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, who's this guy? I'm pulling up rosters. I'm like, who's this guy killing their right tackle?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's him. Okay, well, nice game, kid. Nice job. You know, another late acquisition. Was he a trade, an easy trade?
He was the back end of this. Like, you traded a 20. I don't remember the specifics of it. It's like the Broncos traded a 2023 sixth for Weatherly and a 2023 seventh. Nope, not at all.
No,
not at all. He really lengthy player, good. I really enjoyed him coming out of Vanderbilt. I remember interviewing him and talking with him at the NFL Combine. Smart kid as well. Back then, I guess we were both about the same age back then. So I don't know if I call him a kid, but really excited to see him on this team.
Kids.
Yeah, that's God, man. When I saw the oldest off-ball linebacker in the NFL was 32, my heart skipped a beat. I was like, oh my God, that can't be true for a starter. I do want to talk about one more guy on defense here, and I'll let you kind of peruse the comment section here to make sure we get caught up on Super Chats and Superstars. Make sure you guys are getting those in. We have a goal of 200,000 this month for the Stars in order to get a jersey of your choice this time. So make sure you're getting those in. Max Power coming in with the 2 pounds. The 2 pounds over in Europe. The pound and the euro sign always get me.
Is Euro's definite E. So the one that looks more like an L is the pound sign.
Okay. Well, there we go. The Max Power with the 2 pounds, saying 2 pounds for PS2. Is Patrick Surtain II currently a top 10 corner in the NFL? Oh, man. You know, Max, this is going to be a cop-out answer. I am not breaking down every single cornerback out there right now, so it's really hard for me to say, is he a top 10 corner when I'm not sitting out here breaking down every single cornerback? That's something easier to say, I think, like after the season is over and you start combing through all the tape. But he is playing like a cornerback one on this Broncos team. Opposing teams are targeting him like crazy, and he is still not giving up a lot of yards. I do think that maybe I'll keep him right outside the top 10 just for me, because you are not seeing a massive crop up or an output of turnovers. That's the big. I know turnovers are partly the defense, partially the offensive scheme, partially your own offense, making the other team scared and have to be more aggressive in the pass game. But I'll put him right outside the top 10 just because I start to need to see a little bit more turnovers. And also, my measuring stick right now for anybody is the Falcons. And because I'm watching a lot of Falcons because of Scott, because we're talking some Falcons over on his channel.
Sorry.
It's okay. No, it's fine. But Patrick Surtain is playing incredible. I think that AJ Terrell is playing slightly better. So that's one that I'm having a hard time putting Surtain in the top 10, but he's been incredible this year, and especially for a rookie. I mean,
I don't watch enough of the rest of the NFL to answer that question. My gut says no just yet, because he's playing well and our expectations are different for him because he is a rookie. If you put any value in the Pro Football Focus grades, he's 70th out of 150. So across the entire board, they think he's way off and just playing at an average NFL corner rate, which for a rookie is not all that bad. I don't think he's middle of the pack. Don't get me wrong on that. But again, who's grading the graders? And not every single person, when they're coming up with their grades, they've got Nick grading this guy and me grading this guy. We grade differently, so it all comes together. But like I said, my gut would be, not yet. Top 10 out of, if you're playing 3 or 4 corners on a team on 30 teams, there's 100 plus corners. Top 10's pretty darn special. And he's not there yet. That's okay. That's not a knock on him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And DWI guys coming back in with $7. Broncos are 7-0 versus the Cowboys since 1995. Yeah, it's almost my entire lifetime the Cowboys haven't beaten the Broncos. Almost. So that's awesome. A lot of Cowboy fans out there, they are the America's team, or whatever. But it's always nice to beat the Cowboys and see that Dallas Star looking a little limp out there. Ivan coming in not looking limp this morning. Now I'm pretty sure that Fangio will stay for the next season. And with this win and the excuse of the injuries, we got how many more games left, Scott? My understanding from talking with people in the building and people actually in the Broncos organization, this is essentially a make the playoffs or you're gone type of thing. So while this win helps them definitely on their ability to get to the playoffs, you still have to see how the rest of the season looks.
Yeah, and just like you don't want to get too low after a game where you look flat and get beat by a team that you should have lost to, because it happens to everybody 2 or 3 times a year, no matter how good you are for the most part. You can't now you got to do it again. String a couple of these together. The Philadelphia Eagles aren't great, but they're still better than the first 3 teams you beat. They're still better than the Giants, the Jets, and Washington. Was that where? No, Washington was more recent. Who was the Giants, Jets, and Jaguars? They're still better than them. Let's string a couple of these back to back before we start thinking, okay, now's the playoff run. It's the show me thing. One game, one weekend, anything can happen, and it does. Now we need to see some consistency. The positive part of that, though, is the young players that are stepping up. There's going to be peaks and valleys with the young players too, but now when you've got some depth like that, it makes you feel better about your ability to be consistent because you've got more playmakers on your team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that's Clee saying my internet is freezing again. I closed all my tabs, so hopefully that'll help a little bit. I like to have the stats for you guys while I'm doing this, but hopefully that'll improve it a little bit. We got Nathan coming back in with stars as well, man. Good vibes on this Monday. Broncos back above 500 and back in everything they want to accomplish is right in front of them. So it's incredible. I mean, we actually get to play meaningful football games in November and meaningful football games in December. So that's before the season. I remember we were talking like, oh, playoffs. We definitely want to make playoffs, but for goodness sake, I just want to have meaningful football games at the end of the season where we're not just like looking at the draft order. And we have that in front of us now. So that's awesome. Before we move back to the offense, I do want to give a special shout out to somebody who we've dogged consistently on this podcast, who Vic Fangio has dogged consistently. This guy got a game ball. That's Kyle Fuller. Kyle Fuller comes into this game playing the nickel spot. Everybody was ready to trade him for a conditional 7th-round pick, but the Broncos eating the salary. Kyle Fuller goes out there, first game ever from the nickel spot. He looks awesome. He looks really good. He brings some size to that nickel spot as well that you haven't seen for the Broncos there. Blitzing, good in coverage, and with Bryce Callahan probably out for the rest of the season. Maybe not, but probably. Fuller's going to have a chance there, and he looked super competent in that nickel spot. So I'm excited to see what he can do there. And maybe even, it's only a 1-year deal. Maybe the Broncos get a better compensatory pick for him than they would have for trading him this last week.
Before we move to offense, I want to do players of the game on defense, and then we can do one on offense. And Nick, if you want to restart or something like that,
okay.
I'll take this one.
Okay. Yep.
And I'll monologue on this one. So just me now. Welcome. As I was saying at the beginning of the pod, I wanted to name an offensive and defensive player of the game on each side of the ball, and because there were so many candidates, I didn't think there was any chance that we would pick the same guys. For me, obviously, we've given Kyle Fuller a lot of stick because he's earned it. But there's another guy out there that I think has performed fairly mediocre, got a big payday, and people have kind of talked about that a little bit as being maybe a reason he hasn't stood up. Shelby Harris. For me, on the defensive side of the ball, on the interior line, Shelby Harris, if he wasn't getting in the backfield, he was eating up double teams. For me, he was my defensive player of the game. I go back and look at the win last week, and we talked about the enthusiasm. What does this team feel like? I said, just watch Shelby's press conference. Watch Shelby Harris's press conference, and he's bursting. I mean, he is absolutely just bubbling with the idea of playing with Baron Browning and Jonathan Cooper and some of these young guys next to him. And I thought, for my money, that Shelby Harris was the player of the game on defense. Again, there's so many different candidates that you could go with several of them. You could go with Justin Simmons, as Keith says. I think that's pretty with some of the things that he did with the interceptions. He didn't have the interceptions, but going in and making the tackles, big plays. I thought there were several different candidates in there as well, without a doubt. You could go Jonathan Cooper, but that's who I went with. And Nick probably didn't hear me, so I want to hear what he says without me biasing it. So Nick, you look clearer now.
Okay.
Everything looks like you washed your screen and got out the Windex. Who would you give your player of the game on defense?
Number one, I'd have to go with Jonathan Cooper because I am a big proponent that the most valuable player on your defense is a pass rusher. And if a pass rusher can take over, amazing things can happen. And the Broncos have been missing pass rush this season. They really have. You have not seen a game where a pass rusher has taken over to any extent like Cooper did in this one. So Cooper gets one for me. 7 pressures is outstanding. 2 sacks is outstanding. He was consistently getting Dak Prescott off his spot. And man, what a game from Cooper. So Cooper gets number 1 for me. Number 2, I think would have to be Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons, the ability and coverage in the back end, the energy that he provided, I think on 3 of the 4th down stops, he was a part of it. So Justin Simmons, and also that's one where talk about Von Miller leaving, you need a pass rusher to step up. Talk about Von Miller leaving, you need somebody on the defense to step up and be like, okay, this is my defense now. I'm the dude. Get on my back. Let's ride. And I think Simmons did that. So Cooper and Simmons would be the ones who step out for me.
Like I said, there was no way we're going to pick the same guys because there were so many candidates. I went with Shelby Harris. I thought that the pressure that he was able to get inside and or eating up double teams and holding his ground let everybody else be better around him.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a key. That's what you want out of your interior lineman. I thought Shelby Harris was terrific. So let's move over to the offensive side of the ball. We talked a little bit on the rookie side with Javonto Williams, but let's talk a little bit about that offensive line. That patchwork offensive line is probably how I would write it if I was describing what Denver threw out there. Let's start over at left tackle.
Yeah, Calvin Anderson, heck of a game, moving guys in the run game. I thought a good job also of handling Randy Gregory. There's times where Randy Gregory, got around him. I mean, he's honestly one of the more explosive pass rushers in the game. He just doesn't get much hype because he fell in the draft because, again, he loved marijuana. Whatever it is, what it is, I guess. But Calvin Anderson, he had a great game. Shout out to Teddy Bridgewater, too, for the pocket movement. I mean, there are times where Teddy would just slide on up while keeping his eyes downfield and still going through his progressions, and Calvin Anderson would ride that edge rusher along the outside of that arc. And that's what you want, right? That's what pocket movement's all about. So I thought Calvin Anderson had a heck of a game. I need to go back. Once the All-22 is released, I want to go back and watch him because maybe he outperformed what Garrett Bowles has done this year, even, which would be, I don't want to say there's a controversy there. We need to see more data, but Calvin Anderson looked really good in this game against a pretty good set of pass rushers there with Dallas. So it will be interesting, but Calvin Anderson, man, great game. Really excited about him.
On the long, I made a note on the long Tim Patrick touchdown. Calvin Anderson did a great job of steering Gregory around the edge. Mm-hmm. We talk about length and arm length. That's all you got to do. I don't have to. I just have to be able to get out there and just give him a shove, and let him go, and have Teddy Bridgewater step up and give him time to make that throw downfield, and then Patrick makes a play on it. That play doesn't happen if Calvin Anderson doesn't get out there. But we're gonna start hitting a couple of these supers that are coming in, and we certainly appreciate y'all for sure. It's a lot more fun to have these conversations after a good win. We all like to. The football priests come here and you can cleanse your souls after a loss, but we want to be a little more positive today.
Yeah, the
so
coffee's hitting different.
And DWI guys coming in. So what are you saying? Are we better without Vaughn? Loaded question. The answer is not obvious, but the opportunity for younger players is exciting. It is a loaded question. And it's not that easy to answer unless you're in the locker room.
Yeah.
It's not. Was there some resentment for the old guy? I don't know that for sure. What I do know is the first game without Vaughn, I saw Shelby Harris like a man reborn last week. Just the way he was acting. It might be pure coincidence off of a win, off of some young guys stepping up, might be purely coincidence. Talent-wise, are you better without Vaughn? No, you're not. Will you be better off in the future because you made that trade? Yes, you will. Yeah. But if you can get Jonathan Cooper playing at 75% of the level he played against Dallas, you're going to be a pretty good defense.
Yeah, and that doesn't even include Bradley Chubb coming back here after the bye week. I mean, you talk about the Broncos beating Philly next week, so they have to take care of business. Of course, that's not a given at all. Philly's going to create some issues for that Denver defense, especially those linebackers with the power run they use out of empty backfields. I mean, that's not a lot of teams are doing that in the NFL. It'll be interesting to see how the Broncos scheme up against that. We'll get into that, I'm sure. But is this team better without Vaughn? No, but I do think the locker room dynamics changed, and you're going to have guys really now they have to look in the mirror, right? They're not looking at Vaughn anymore. Who's going to make a play for me? I'm not leaning on Vaughn. It's got to be me. I got to be the dude who goes out there now. It's my chance. I could be the leader, and I think there's something to be said about the shifting of the dynamics of leadership in that room and just things being shaken up.
Well, again, there's the word is being shaken up. It's almost like an old coach. You start tuning out that stuff after a while. You need a new voice. Yeah. You need new leaders to step up. You need new guys. And for that to happen, for the young trees to grow up, some of the old trees got to go and for them to shine. So are you better without Vaughn? No. Can you be? Yeah, you can for sure. You can be.
Absolutely.
Gary, Appreciate you coming in with the super. Now, same Gary? Aloha?
Different.
Okay.
Looks very different.
For the big uglies, love seeing 77 downfield blocking. That's Quinn Miners and Hustling. Thank you for all content through the years. Nick, Broncos for Breakfast is one of my favorite shows.
Thank you so
Nick,
much, Gary.
This is for you.
Yeah, I mean, God, this was a game that was fed my soul, because this is what we've been preaching all season, right? If the Broncos were going to be a good team this year, we kind of know what Teddy Bridgewater can be. You don't want him out there being a Russell Westbrook kind of point guard. You needed him being a Rajon Rondo, picking his spots, operating the offense, getting the ball to your playmakers, and leaning on a run
carries out of your running backs
and an elite defense on the other side. I mean, that was the formula all season. We knew it going into this game. If you can do that, you can beat anybody in this league. You really can. Obviously, it's hard because at some point something's not going to work and you're going to lean on your quarterback. I get that, but that should have been enough for this team this year. Run game has not been as efficient as you'd hope. The defense, especially. I know they put up the points output on the graphics yesterday in the game, but that's a little bit deceiving because the Denver defense is getting the best starting field position of any team in football. There's also the Broncos have like 3 or 4 less possessions a game than any other team because of how much the offense is using time of possession. So
toiling.
Yes, exactly. So those stats were a little bit deceiving, but they played a great game this week, and I absolutely love seeing the offensive line get out there and do that. I mean, that's the formula. People say the run game isn't as good as the pass game. I think there's a little bit of selection bias in that data because that is heavily favoring teams with elite franchise quarterbacks, right? Like not everybody has one of those guys, so you can't lean into the pass game like those teams can. So to have the run game, what they're doing right now, to shorten the games, to just out physical your opponent. I mean, Dallas wanted nothing there at the end. Denver was just smacking them around. I bet Dallas, ice up, son, get in the tub. It's that kind of game, and it was beautiful to watch. Beautiful.
Miners to me looked like a guy that didn't know he was going in and then grew into the game. I thought he struggled a little bit to get up to the speed of the game, and then I thought he grew into it as the half went on and started asserting his will a little bit more, and it became a run type of
game.
It became a running game. Yep. We're up a bunch. Let's grind it, which is gonna fit him. Now I'm gonna call out JR again, and I'm gonna not call out. Just I disagree. In fact, spoiler alert: Boyd Cushenberry was my offensive player of the game.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that one. Say more. I got to hear more.
So, and it might be because going back to what Klee had said earlier about when we were talking about the players, and he it felt a little sarcastic saying Fangio thought Fuller was the player of the game. Fuller got a game ball. Mm-hmm. And your expectations are, I'm going to reward a guy for stepping up, for exceeding expectations. Like, dude, you were down in the dumps. We've been crapping on you for 6 to 7 weeks. Yeah. And you played well today. Congratulations.
In a position he was not ready for as the slot. I mean, never even asked to do that. So
I feel that way about Cushenberry. I watched him a lot in this game. I watched him and the guards a lot. Cushenberry was, when he was working double teams, he was there. He was sealing blocks. And what he was doing better than anybody on the interior line was getting to the second level. Mm-hmm. Now, he had a mistake or two, but he was getting out to the second level and showed good mobility. He handled his double teams extremely well. They got nothing up the middle on his side when he was going. When the 97 Watkins or somebody came through early a couple times, I watched Cushenberry and I watched Glasgow because that was the gap he was splitting. Cushenberry, it might have been a wrong call. I don't know that for sure, but Cushenberry immediately took the guy to his left. Didn't even look to his right. So if that's his assignment, he carried his assignment out well. So even the mistakes that were coming where they were getting early pressure, Cushenberry, I wouldn't put him at fault. So for me, based on how poorly he has played, to step up and play at a really good level, he was my player of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a hard time getting a play of the game for anybody on this team because there's so many that deserve it. I mean, every single player almost deserves it besides special teams. Brandon McManus has been struggling there for a second. But my offensive player of the game would be Tim Patrick. Heck of a game from Tim Patrick. Big time catches. That third down pass, the 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, where Teddy feathered the ball. But he had the high-low read on the right side of the field and just bloop, perfect little.
And the low guy almost went for it. Like, wait, is that for me?
Yeah.
It was that close.
gorgeous over the
And
defender.
I want to make a point on that. Sorry, I feel like I'm dominating this part of it.
That's okay.
But I'm old. I'll forget what I was going to say, so I better say it now.
Do it. No, do it.
What's nice is Tim Patrick dominated the first half, right?
Yep.
So Dallas makes an adjustment. They change their coverages up there. Who finishes as the second leading receiver? It was Jerry Jeudy, wasn't he?
Jerry Jeudy.
That is the benefit of having those guys out there, of being able to change it up. They can take one guy away. They can't take away Sutton. They can't take away Jeudy. They can't take away Williams. They can't take away Gordon. I thought Eric Sauber played an incredible game.
I mean, Andrew Beck, like blocking.
I thought he played great. Again, there's a lot of superlatives to be given out in a game that is this dominant.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to look at. I like the underdog anyway. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the guys that we might not normally expect to be. And for me, Cushenberry was that guy. I loved his game. I thought he was great yesterday.
He had a pretty good game. I thought Dalton Risner early on missed a few blocks here and there, but then stepped it up down the stretch. We've been hard on him as far as his ability to climb to the second level, but the Broncos were running a little bit more traps and pin pull kind of concepts there with the run game, and Dalton Risner actually on the move, getting to that second level on those pulls. He had some great blocks at the second level, which we had not seen from him this season. So hats off to him as well. He had a good game, and everybody also, just for a second, shout out to Graham Glasgow, was having a solid game. He got rolled up on that play at the end of the second half, and we can maybe tomorrow talk a little bit about the challenge call that was kind of questioning in the second half, or the end of the first half call as well for the Broncos. But that was unfortunate. Good to see Miners come in, but it does sound like we might be losing Glasgow for a while with a ankle injury. So we'll find out more today. Clee coming in saying Broncos for breakfast 3 days a week. Woohoo. Thank you guys. Thank you very much, Clee. Thank you for your support. Thank you everybody for your support today. I mean, it's obviously the good vibes are rolling when the Broncos are winning. But we really appreciate you guys coming in and supporting the morning show. It really does mean a lot and helps us continue to come and give you these shows 3 days a week. So we appreciate you. Peter coming in saying Dallas didn't know what to do as they were so used to double teaming Vaughn. Yeah, that was a big one. I also thought that, I saw some thoughts coming out of this game, like Courtland Sutton, man, what's up with him? Well, when I watched the game, they were bracketing Courtland Sutton a lot and moving coverage over to him. He did have a couple big plays here and there, but like you touched on, this is why you want to have multiple options, because when a team schemes out one guy, you can just go to the other. Because if you're taking coverage one place, it means they're taking it away from somewhere else. So
I got 450 yards of offense. I'm not going to complain about somebody not contributing.
Yeah, there's always those.
That means somebody else stepped up. There was a matchup you liked better. There was another hot hand. That's look week to week. Now, if that becomes a trend and he's not getting the ball when you're struggling, Noah Fant, that becomes more of a question. But when Tim Patrick's hot, when Jerry Jeudy's hot, Melvin Gordon is getting yards, Javonto Williams, I'm not worried about Sutton not getting the ball. They're not stopping the other guys.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
and you know who else wouldn't be worried about getting the ball yesterday? Courtland Sutton.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's perfectly fine with, hey, I'll take the dub. My day will come.
Yeah. And what's beautiful also about those wide receivers? You running as good as the Broncos were in that game. It's not just the offensive line. It's not the running backs. It's the wide receivers as well. And those guys on the perimeter, on the second level, there was ones where they were running those defensive backs off the field with the blocking. And when you have your wide receivers contributing to the run game like that, that's a team win. That's everybody executing, doing their job, because it's really easy for a wide receiver to be a diva and just like, I'm just going to kind of get in the way. That's not what was happening out there from any of them. So want to give them a shout out. That was incredible.
DWI guys coming in and say he's in England in the sport. Well, sorry, I sent your mug to your Andover address in Minnesota. Apologies. Says the sports grow on you. We're going to talk Chelsea here for just 1 second. Reigning European champions, first in the league. And I don't know if this was symbolic or if this is coincidence, but 26 is the legendary number of John Terry, one of the best defenders in the history of the game. So that might have been a coincidence, might not have been. But yeah, it's a fun sport. And what's nice about soccer is, it's boring. Well, hell, it's over in 90 minutes. That's a long quarter in other sports. Shoot, I watched 90 minutes. We're still in the second inning in one of the World Series games. I'm bored. I'm not bored for long. It's going to be over quick.
Yeah.
So appreciate that one. And then, Peter coming in and saying center is the one position that I would get in free agency. I feel about this the same way I feel about we were talking about the Broncos, about Cushenberry. Show me again.
Yep.
Let's string some together. Now we need some consistency. I think you had a great game. Now let's do it again. It's a what have you done for me lately type league. This is one of 17.
Yep.
It only counts one. This win doesn't count any more than, a bad loss. So show me again. Let's string it together. And I feel that way about the entire team. We're not going to get too low when it's going bad. We're not going to get too high after a win because there's another game coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And before we get on out of here, obviously the good vibes are rolling. And as long as you guys are dropping supers and stars, like we're not going to get out of here. But we do need to talk a little bit of Teddy Bridgewater. Had an incredible game. I saw that there were some contrarians out there, the axe to grind, talking about, they only won this game because of the defense and the run game. That's always been the formula with this team and Teddy Bridgewater. But the one thing that I wanted to point out here, how many first downs did the Broncos get on 3rd and 5+ where Teddy threw it short of the sticks and the receiver with space made a play? I mean, my God, this has been, I don't want to cuss, but it's been really driving me absolutely insane. The narrative out here that Teddy only ever throws it short of the sticks. If there's routes that are designed short of the sticks on 3rd and 5, you know what that route is designed to do? Give that player a chance to make a play after the catch, whether that be one-on-one or anything, and create after the catch to get that 3rd down. Otherwise, you'd not even have that route in there, right? And in this game, the Broncos, time and time again, caught it, a little short. Tim Patrick, Alberto Cuebanam, Jerry Jeudy, one of the running backs, they get it 2 yards to go. Salbert, they get it 2 yards to go. They turn upfield, and they get the God-blessed first down. It's like, God, it's driving me insane from the fans screaming about Teddy with the checkdowns without the understanding that that's the whole point of that is to give your playmaker a chance with the ball in space to do something, right? I mean, it's insane. So that happened this game. Maybe that's a little bit of a subtweet at Noah Fant for not getting it done when he's been that type of outlet option.
There's some anger in these words. I hear it. I know where it's directed.
It's at Noah Fant, but it's also at the just general misunderstanding of what is being asked of an offense from a scheme and a passing attack in general. So
if you hit a guy on a crossing route underneath, that's one thing. If you hit a guy on a curl route or a speed out that's going to the sidelines and you run it short, that's bad. Yeah. But if I get a guy in space where he's got some room, like you're saying, a speed out where he's got room to cut up and move up, then that's okay. I should be able to pick that up. I should be able to get some yak yards.
Yeah. And you at least give your guy a chance, right? Like people are like, oh man, who cares about a completion if it's short of the sticks? You know what? If you get a completion, you at least have a chance for the guy to make a play after the catch. And we saw that in this game, keeping it going. If it's on the ground or you're throwing into double coverage, but it's past the sticks, that's not doing anything for you. So this is a game where it showed Derek Carr, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, they made careers off of throwing it short of the sticks and giving their guy a chance after the catch. And this game was beautiful.
There's no need for, again, Teddy is Teddy. We know what Teddy's going to be. At the end of the season, Teddy's going to be somewhere between that 15 and 20 range in efficiency.
Maybe
higher. Which was
a
massive step up from last year. That's where he's going to be.
Yep. He
started off hot. He had some downs. He had a really good game. It's going to bring that efficiency back up. At the end, you're going to get 15 to 20, middle of the pack. Middle of the pack was a huge improvement over last year. And we said that was going to happen at the beginning of the year. He's still not going to be the long-term answer. He's still not going to be a top 10 quarterback ever. That's okay. You don't need that right now to win and make a playoff run. So he's going to struggle again. I promise you. The Philadelphia Eagles, we'll get into them. The Philadelphia Eagles front four, especially on the interior, is scary.
Yeah,
they're the type that's going to give the Broncos more trouble than what we got from Dallas last week, where the edges were controlled. Their pressure comes from the interior, and it's spooky how good they can be. Vernon Hargreaves is a beast. Teddy's going to struggle again. I promise you.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that's no surprise. So I'm not doing a sack dance. I'm a Teddy fan. I really like the person. I root for Teddy Bridgewater to be successful. I'm certainly not going to go out there and do a sack dance saying, see, I told you so. No, he's going to have good games. He's going to have bad games. At the end of the day, he's going to finish about average.
Yep.
That's who Teddy is. We know that.
Yeah. And so far this season, Teddy Bridgewater, just looking at his statistics, and I even filtered out garbage time because, the games don't count unless they are, that's just the narrative this year. I guess congratulations to Josh Allen and the Bills. They lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars 9-6, but because it's the Jags, the stats in the game doesn't count. So good for them. But Teddy Bridgewater in the season, including all games, filtering out garbage time, which is Broncos or whatever team having a win probability of less than 10 or over 90. Teddy Bridgewater, the 9th quarterback overall this season in EPA and CPOE composite, number 12 in EPA per play, and CPOE completion percentage over expected, third overall this season. So Teddy Bridgewater right now this season is playing like a top 10, 15 quarterback in the NFL. I'm expecting him to finish somewhere in that 12 to 20 range.
Mhm.
But I mean, this is great. This is beautiful. This is what you want. And sorry, guys, the games week 1 through 3, not sorry, guys, but the games weeks 1 through 3, those aren't gimmies in the NFL. You got to still go out there and compete.
They count too.
They count. It just drives me nuts. Narrative keeps changing.
Chris coming in with the stars. Chris, I got your paper. So hit me up on Twitter. Send me a DM with your address. So we got a Braves fan, and I got one. I got the last one at a racetrack or a quick trip the other day. So hit me up on Twitter and get me your address. And appreciate the stars as always. Peter coming in also. I'm down a little bit. Oh, good gracious. DWI guys coming in one more time. Thanks, gents. Love the show. I'm off to football practice. Well, have fun. It's a good sport. I wish my Achilles could keep up with me now. I think I'm in decent enough shape to play, but my Achilles say, no, you're not. You go run, you can't walk for 2 weeks. So that's not for me. Andrew coming in. Andrew coming in a little late, buying us all coffee. Good morning, Andrew. Appreciate that with the coffee mug coming in. And Peter Middleton was just above him, saying Teddy is a bridge until we can draft or sign a QB the Broncos want. I really feel he'll be here next year. He might be. When this subject comes up in any of the chats that I am moderating or looking through, I always type in the background, Teddy Bridgewater is going to have to take a massive pay cut to be back next year. Massive. One of the greatest things about Teddy Bridgewater for the Broncos is he didn't cost you anything. He was basically a freebie. He didn't cost you anything. He's on $3 or $4 million a year. That's nothing for a starting quarterback that's playing on an average level. I mean, that's at least 12 to 15. So he's going to have to take a big pay cut to come back. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Have him come in and mentor the next guy for a year. Draft a guy that you really like, a developmental guy like Malik Willis, possibly. Give him a year behind a veteran who is a good leader and a good mentor like Teddy Bridgewater, and start building. And you can still win. You can still win with Teddy Bridgewater. No doubt about that. But build your guy for the future with one more year of Bridgewater could be a good formula for sure.
Yeah, no, Teddy played well. And I also want to give a shout out to, we're not in there, but to have what the Broncos had happen last week, was it 13,000 no-shows for the stadium for the Broncos?
It'll be full. It'll be full this week.
It's going to be full in this game. Yeah, this is going to be a hot ticket, which is, God, how awesome is that? But then also Von Miller being traded, the Broncos, everybody says they're dead. Oh, who is it? The reports of my death were highly exaggerated. Who's the pop culture history quote on that? Is it the Mark Twain one? I don't even remember.
The reports of my demise.
Yes,
I don't
exaggerated.
Know where that originated.
But that's what this Broncos team is right now, and you have to give a big hats off to all the leaders in that locker room because they can look around. The media doesn't believe in us. The fans don't believe in us. Our front office doesn't believe in us. Getting rid of Von Miller for 2 future picks, and you know what? I believe in us. We're going to go out there. We're going to do our job. We're going to execute. We can beat anybody if we play that kind of football. We know we can. So let's go out there and do it. Shock the world. And here we are. So hats off to the leaders in that locker room, and whether that be Teddy Bridgewater filling in that role, whether that be Justin Simmons, I don't care. Yeah, it is a Mark Twain quote. Thank you. I thought it was Mark Twain maybe. But that was a heck of a job by this team and the new leadership, whoever's going to emerge there. Hats off. And that's the intangible stuff we talked about with Teddy Bridgewater all season. When the chips are down, Teddy's going to be who he always is. He is not going to go out there and be fake. He's not going to go out there and be too high or too low. He's going to be the leader he always has been. And I think that was a big thing for this team. I mean, we haven't even talked about Drew Lock being out right before kickoff because of whatever's going on in the world right now. And the Broncos go out there and Teddy goes out there and executes and has a heck of a game. Not a perfect game. Those sacks, a couple of those sacks were on him. He had a couple bad throws as well, but exactly who you needed him to be in this game for this team.
There's a word that gets thrown a lot in international football about why a guy plays over the other, and it's trust. You know what you're going to get from Teddy Bridgewater. You trust him. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to get this. Now I can try and scheme around his deficiencies. Dan coming in with this question that piqued my interest, said, who had the bright idea of having Gordon block Micah Parsons is a disaster? I mentioned that earlier. is why I wanted to highlight that. And that's just good scheming with a player that is versatile enough that you can line up in different places. He came on a little bit of a delayed blitz. That's the running back's job. That's the running back's job. When you bring a guy, a safety or a linebacker on either dead up the middle or on a stunt, that's the running back's job on a delayed blitz. So you hope and credit to Melvin Gordon. He did a much better job later in that same drive. But yeah, he got handled. He's given up probably 40 pounds to Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons is probably faster than him. So that's good scheming from Dallas, and hopefully you can work around that. It doesn't cause you too much damage.
Yeah, I was when I saw that question, like, who was responsible for that? Dan Quinn. That's one where
it's good scheming with a player you can bring from multiple locations. Because on the touchdown run later, one of the early touchdown runs I was watching, I think it was Reisner gets out, and they had Micah Parsons lined up on the right side on the end, and he's head up, and here comes Reisner on a pull and gets out there and seals off that edge. And I think it was Melvin Gordon basically waltzed right in on a touchdown run. Well, that was bad scheme, because now you got a linebacker, an outside linebacker, head up on a pulling guard, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depending on that play. If they tried to run away from him or try and go wide, they were in trouble. But that was just schematic. So I don't put any blame on the scheme on that. Those other guys are trying to create favorable matchups too. Their guy beat your guy, but it didn't cost you the game, didn't even cost you the drive.
Yeah. And shout out to the Broncos. I wanted to also give a shout out to Shamar Stephen, who is filling in for Mike Purcell in this game.
Deshaun Williams.
Yeah, Deshaun Williams too. I saw that he was getting a little snippy on
Twitter.
Twitter.
Down the whole roster. That's what I said. Stephen Weatherly in there. You go down the whole roster of guys that came in and contributed. I'm flipping through the roster saying, Hairston. Who's Hairston? Who's this guy?
Nate Hairston. Temple Owls, I believe, drafted by the Colts.
Everybody's making plays. Kyle Fuller hadn't made a play in so long, I had to look up who he was. Who's that guy? Oh, that's
number
Fuller.
23?
Nice. Good job. Way to come back.
Yeah, so I'm excited to go back and watch this game again, break it down. We got Tim asking any word on Surtain's injury. He's going to get an MRI today. I heard it was just a contusion on the knee, but we'll see. Also, it was just cramps for Patrick, so hopefully it's not a big deal. Yeah, man, what a win. What a game for the Broncos. What a chat today, too, man. You guys were alive, and that is great. We'll be back again tomorrow. We love you guys. It's always good vibes when the Broncos are putting up a game like that. I mean, everything went essentially according to plan, I guess, besides special teams, right? It could have even been a bigger blowout if special teams wasn't missing plays out there. Hopefully Brandon McManus can get things working the right way, but great showing by the Broncos, great showing by the rookie class. Perfection. I mean, just
offensive line stepping up, reserve offensive line stepping up, interior line stepping up, Kyle Fuller stepping up, guys that needed to show up, showed that they are professionals and they have pride. They haven't given up on anything. And they went out there and got it done. It was a fun day for the Denver Broncos and Denver Broncos fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't just the winning; it was winning in a dominating fashion. And throughout the score, even the Broncos taking it to the Cowboys, who have one of the best offensive lines in football, and taking it to their defensive line as well, just out physicaling them. I mean, I felt like the gosh darn Wisconsin Badgers out there just dominating the trenches against some team that Rutgers, who just you have no chance in the trenches against them because they're just so much bigger, faster, stronger than you in that offensive line and the defensive front. So it was beautiful. I mean, this is a old fashioned football game, right? I was still one in the trenches. Denver beat them at their own game. And it's hats off to them. I mean, they backed into a corner, getting the win. Good vibes. Love you guys. We're going to get on out of here. You guys can follow Scott and myself on Twitter. Scott is at Scout Kennedy and myself at Nick Kendell MHH. Had to do a double take there because we're on opposite sides of the screen that we typically are. I was like, wait a second, you're on the other side.
Yeah, but you're much clearer now. When you were over on this side, nobody could see you anyway.
Okay, well, I am beautiful, so we do want to be able to see me.
Exactly.
At Huddle Up Pod, you can follow us there as well, and at Mile High Huddle. Guys, Christmas right around the corner. If you want to support us and get yourself a little bit of swag, go to huddleuppod.com, get the hats, get the coffee mugs. Honestly, we just need to get these coffee mugs rolling. I need some more pictures in here, and you guys got to let us know if you are enjoying some of that brown goodness in your coffee mug. Scott rocking it there. People over on Facebook, make sure you're joining us at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. Become a supporter. You can also go to /Mile High Huddle pod. conversations there. I mean, we could talk about this game for the rest of the week. There's stuff we didn't even get into. I mean, I would love to talk more Tim Patrick. What are we going to do about signing him? What's the future for this team at the quarterback position, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of conversation to have
Kenny
there.
Young. Kenny Young's on a 1-year deal, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I mean, you have Kenny Young, Josie Jewell, Alexander Johnson. What does that mean? Maybe compensatory picks play a little bit into it as well, because if you retain,
it's nice when rookie Baron Browning goes out there and plays 62 snaps and you pitch a shutout, and it starts putting pressure on the other guys and gives you always negotiate from a position of strength. Baron Browning has helped strengthen the Broncos position.
Absolutely. Justin Sternad, not as much, but that's okay. With good vibes. So make sure you're joining us at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. For you YouTube folks out there, subscribe, like, and share. Smash that like button, slam the subscribe, whatever the kids are saying, hit the bell for the alert. And do so also for Scott's channel at youtube.com/C/Scott Kennedy. And joining him Wednesdays to talk a little bit of Falcons. And pretty soon here, I'm guessing we're going to, well, both these teams are winning, so I guess not pretty soon. But we will make that transition to very draft offseason centric content at some point. So Scott, what's the rest of the day?
I got nothing else to say. Nick, you summed it up very well. Let's sign us off and get to the rest of our day.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have a great one. We love you all. Go Broncos. Go rookie class with good vibes. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And on to the Eagles. We'll see you next time.